everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Spideydude Experience. I'm Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood host. Before we get started, I want to remind you of our Patreon page at patreon.com/Spideydude Network, and I want to thank two of our patrons. Thanks to Venkman and Scott for your support. If you want to know more information, go to patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Thanks for watching. Thanks for their support as we continue to grow this particular channel. Thanks, of course, to those guys. We'll continue to thank them every time. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you're watching us live, if you're listening to us, though, I want to give you a brief disclaimer. We are going to probably have visual aids up on the screen as we do record these live streams on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So please excuse and apologize for our references. Hopefully that doesn't deter your enjoyment of the show. Of course, then we have this episode 23 of the Spideydude Experience. We have our voicemail line also. If you want to have your voicemail heard, you can play it 818-925-6631. And you can always leave us an email at SpideyRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Or you could, of course, if you're listening to the audio version, leave us a review. Give us 5 stars on your favorite podcasting app. With that out of the way, without further ado, my friends, it is time for this new episode of the Spideydude Experience. And I am your host, Zach Joyner. Thanks again for watching. Hello, everybody. Let me get that banner off right quick so you can see my name. Hello, I'm the executive producer of Spideydude Radio Network. And, of course, this is the Spideydude Experience. Thanks for watching us this particular episode. And, of course, I am not alone. I am never alone. I am always surrounded by great people and great friends. Guys like Hail Zorp.
I'm always alone.
Broadcasting from the Sea of Quilts is Neil Bogenreiter of the Bogenreiter Variety Hour. Speaking of, if you want to watch him, it's Saturdays on twitch.tv/quillsniff, but that may be changing pretty soon because you got a job.
Yes, I work at Staples now.
I'm sorry.
It's a 24-minute. It's a 24-minute commute along the highway.
Nice.
I don't want to do and
are you going down 45?
Yeah, by 45 South. I applied to Office Depot, but Staples got to me first, and they probably pay more. So
yeah.
I don't have to do as much. Like at Target, so a bit of a previous world experience. I used to work at Target, and those things are massive. The Staples I went into, nowhere near as big. It's like
I wish you still worked at Target because
it's maybe the size of this house.
Yeah, I wish you still worked at Target because you could hook me up with some Marvel Legends exclusives because Target's notorious for like being hard to get stuff.
Oh no, I don't get a good hold of them either. Oh, I didn't. I tried getting a hold of the House of X Cyclops Marvel Legends. We didn't have any.
Oh man, I think I've still got one in my town. If you Venmo me some money, I'll ship it to you. So
I'll think about it.
All right. Next up, for right now, the only other one for right now is Adam. Welcome back, Adam. Hello.
Speak, human.
We can't hear you, buddy.
My mic's off.
They didn't tell us that. So.
Hopefully everybody likes our new visual aids. It's a work in progress. So
yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. Follow us on YouTube and all the fun stuff. Matt Auger says, "Hey Zach, what's up?" Evening from Ryan Reed. Hello from Vinkman. How is everyone doing? I just got finished watching Batman Returns. I was playing the game of life with my daughter, so we weren't originally going to be recording.
The real one, or like the one that goes into. Okay. Imagine playing like the game of life in real life.
Exactly.
It'd be pretty funny though.
Text me. All right. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys like these visual aids. Yeah. So we're obviously live right now. Our good friend Paul will be on very shortly, but tonight we're gonna cover 3 issues. But first, Neil, you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so, okay.
I'm going to make you solo. by the way. While you
Oh,
drink
okay. This is my thing. Okay.
Yes.
So, my friend Hernando, he loves bots, and he and his friends put in a review of Spider-Man in bot format. It makes no sense, but I love it because it makes no sense. So, if at all permissible, I will read this line for line.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
We're buying time till Paul gets here, so.
Okay.
This is cool. Even though somebody said it took us 30 freaking minutes on a comment on YouTube. So let's not take 30 minutes, but like
this isn't gonna take 30 minutes.
Okay,
I don't even think
right.
it'll take 5.
Okay.
In continuing my series of chronological reviews of the Spider-Man comic book events, we finally arrived at my personal favorite entry, Kraven's Last Stromboli. This event takes place after the secret meatball storyline, in which the Green Goblin injects the Hulk with a serum that permanently seals off his pores. This prompts Iron Man and his loyal son, Spider-Man, to take out Kraven by injecting him with a different serum that permanently affects his eyes. A postscript suggests that the older Kraven was actually fighting the effects of an STI during this whole ordeal. The original story arc introduced us to Kraven, an angry hunter who haunted New York with a meatball scent. Kraven was portrayed as an agent of chaos who reveled in showing the world his herpes and adult genitals.
This is a kid's show. This is a kid's show. We're trying not to, what
Not anymore.
God, I just had my daughter walk in. Thank God she wasn't listening on the headphones, dude. Really?
This is
Are
why
you
the
kidding me
headphones
right
are
now?
on. This is why the headphones are on.
This is why we have bots.
Yeah.
Bad bots. Very bad bots. God,
I really
Nobody
did
could-
enjoy that bot written thing in ASM 25. I thought that was funny.
So this isn't inappropriate for most of the rest of it.
Okay.
Most-
Should probably say it to me first. This is bad editing on my part. All right, continue.
To hear a man describe himself as the last hunter of New York was kind of badass. Even the regular villains, like the Rhino and Venom, were paired up with Spider-Man to help combat Kraven and his army of freakish Jack Kirby-esque demons.
That's fair.
In Stromboli, Spider-Man is given the chance to take on the vigilante known as the Spider, an insect-like creature who's been rampaging through Manhattan. Spider-Man is also given the opportunity to battle some seriously threatening antagonists, Johnny Virus O'Hara and post-punk Tintin Abulation, who are the brains behind this monstrous assault. Mere hours after being released from the hospital, Peter is forced to make a quick trip to the museum to do his laundry. Upon entering the gallery, Spider-Man is met with a nightmare scenario. A band of post-punk punks are giving an anti-fascist speech to an audience of agitated anti-socialists, hippies, and pansexuals, complete with dancing meatballs, and the aforementioned hairy genitalia. To make matters worse, Spider-Man is thrust into a world of chaos, trying to act cool in front of a pack of infected weirdos, taking on the most disturbing agents of chaos around him, and taking some seriously effed up villains and monsters. You can see it in a real Ditko direction right there at the end. Sounds like the bot wanted Mr. A to go full riot cop against the Black Bloc. Anyways, that's it. What'd you think? Please take me off the front screen. I'm terrified of being in front of a large crowd.
Zach.
I think Zach killed himself.
Oh God. There's gonna need to be a disclaimer on this one.
I think Zach actually left.
Yeah.
I'm permanently trapped.
This is why the full screen is a bad idea.
Hang on, I'm gonna message him on Facebook. That'll get him.
He'll never suspect it.
I think he's at Wag Dog Wag, Hernando here. That was in Talk to Transform, by the way.
Okay. I'm not okay, so okay. All right. Let me okay, I'm gonna get solo on me. So this is a reference to a joke it's not a joke, it actually happened. There was a time where I sliced my foot open during a recording of CSC, where I was bleeding. Sorry, my 6-year-old decides to come in right as we're starting to record and says, "Daddy, can you turn the TV on?" And then the TV does not want to cooperate. So, anyway, I was not, in fact, bleeding. Christian Fernando here.
This is the guy who put the stuff into the bot to make the. This is my friend Fernando.
Oh, hello, sir. Welcome to the show. I have no idea what the hell that was, Neil, but keep up the good work. Hello. All right.
Yep, exactly.
What the fresh hell? These are some of our live comments. What's with all the meatballs? Nothing to be afraid of. You look fine.
Need more meatballs.
Meatballs. And speaking of looking fine, there's a man looking fine right here. P-Thug Paul. Hello.
Oh God, his mutton chops are gone. Wowee. You're muted.
You're muted, buddy.
They were gone last time too, Neil.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh,
He wasn't on the last one.
He wasn't on the last episode. Remember? He couldn't be on.
Well,
no.
I was on his show talking about Captain
Oh
America.
yeah.
Oh.
Dare you not pay attention to me, Neil?
Speaking of, if you want to check out his show, go to the Comic Bitch YouTube page, like, share, and subscribe. So there you go.
Yes, the latest video just had my biggest one. 1,000 has 1,000 views now. It's crazy.
How did that happen? It's out of control.
I have no Adam. I missed you. What's up, man?
Hey man.
So Sarah's here. Hello,
Hi, Sarah.
She can't hear you, but
That's fine.
I cannot. Hello, everybody. Also,
That's
you lost. You're terrible at the game of life.
I know I'm a
In
terrible.
reality and by Hasbro.
Oh,
Ow. Ow!
Ouch.
On my show, like this is.
that's like the most That's the most emasculating thing that's happened today.
Well, listen, this is like if.
Why are we live now? By the way, I'm really confused.
What?
Because we didn't go live. We decided to go live because Neil was like, I got something that I want to do first, and I was like, okay. And so that way, by the time you got here, we could start the reviews of the various issues. So, yeah.
Okay.
I do want to give a brief health update because this is well, because people want to know. So I got a stress test last week. What? I don't know. I just have it in my hand. Okay. Anyway, it's something to have in my hand. My wife's asking me what's with the TikTok box in my hand. Anyway, Tic Tac, not TikTok. That's the two different things.
That's a data mining app.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Anyway, stress test last week went well. But obviously, if you guys didn't see the stream last Wednesday, I had death in the family, so that's why we didn't stream last week. But we got to add an extra issue today, so we're gonna start. Was Giant Size? Giant Size was first.
Giant
right?
Size was first. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What? Fernando makes a good point that what we presented as a bot was in a way a review, just of a very non-existent Spider-Man
Hi,
story.
Bankman. I can always count on Bankman to say hi to me. It makes me feel important.
Greg Washansky, loving the Omnibus collection. Just put a pre-order for the ASM Omnibus Volume 5. So
No,
There you go.
for the record, Sarah, I said hi.
he knows that, but she knows that. She knows that you said hi, Paul.
Okay, but she used
I
count
did.
Bankman.
Hello,
What about
Paul.
hi,
Hello?
Sarah? Hi.
Do you want to just grab a seat and a set of
No,
headphones?
I'm asking if you would like the special guest to come say hello very quickly.
Oh, special guest. Since she already came in and it had me turn on her television.
Oh, because I'm spending
Aw.
her money to find out that you lost.
Yeah. Okay. Bring her in.
Yay.
So
Hey, girl, come here.
No.
I'm gonna make myself big so everybody can see me.
That's nice.
All right. So I want somebody to say hi for the first time here on the Spidey Radio Network that wasn't crying. Ugh!
That wasn't crying.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
Can you say
You
hi?
are adorable.
Say. Somebody said you're adorable. So say thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're live on the internet, baby girl. Is that cool?
But
Yeah?
I bet they didn't say that when you were a kid, Zach. Oh yeah, I'm live on the internet.
Do it.
Show her everybody else that we should feel weird.
Okay, so let me show you, because right now we're not only talking to all these people, but you're talking to these four people.
You've met me.
You've met. Remember Uncle Neil?
last summer.
From last summer? Here.
Yes.
I'll put these headphones on.
Hi, my name's
Hi.
Paul. I'm waving to you right now. What's up,
Aw.
girl?
That's Paul right there.
Hi.
And that's Adam. Right there.
Whoa.
Hey, what's your favorite
Oh.
candy?
And then we have a special friend, Bankman, who I'm sure is
Chocolate.
commenting because I see
Yeah.
comments.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I got
What about,
comments
what about
all.
gummy bears? What
This,
about
this
what
gets us
about
more
them?
subscribers.
Yeah.
I will do it.
I like gummy bears too.
Atta girl.
I was about to say, Paul. I was about to say, Paul.
Also, Soflo, and I don't know who Ag is, but hello,
Yeah.
you're new.
That's Neil's friend.
Oh, hello, friend.
Hello,
He's the one-
Soflo.
he's the
Soflo
one who-
says hello, and then
he's the one-
howdy.
He's the one who made the interesting story.
I like Heavy's choices. All right, baby girl.
All right, come on.
Bye, Gabby. Nice meeting you.
All right.
I'll get you some gummy bears sometime.
All right.
Can I be honest, Paul? It feels like you were trying to pigeonhole her into saying gummy bears, so that
You're
like
not
you'd
wrong.
already sent
He
gummy
is-
bears. And you were trying to justify your decision.
Yeah,
He is the gummy bear king.
Good night, all.
I am.
My friends, goodbye.
Bye, baby. All right.
Bye, baby.
Sorry. Sorry, you're not my baby, buddy. Even though I'm apparently your boo.
You are my boo.
Hang on, did this happen while I was gone?
What?
Just having a private conversation,
I thought,
sir.
I thought you were calling Paul your boo.
No, I called him my boo earlier.
Yes, he didn't do it in the group chat though. All right, so we're 16 minutes in. Sorry to the angry YouTube person that's saying we took too long. All right, so we're doing giant.
Say it to my face, angry group YouTube person. What's up? Where we at?
All right, so giant size Spider-Man King's Ransom is the this is the conclusion to the King's Ransom story arc. Nick Spencer was the writer. Roger Antonio with Carlos Gomez and Zay Carlos are artists.
Wait, hang on, real quick. ASM 66 is the actual conclusion in terms of like all the plot points.
It's like an epilogue.
It's an
kind of thing.
epilogue.
This says conclusion on it, sir.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
ASM 23 had hunted epilogues, so
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm,
but
I'm playing semantics, old man. You can't stop me.
Damn,
well,
dude.
here's the thing. This one just is called Tangled Web, which
Yeah.
so it's like a prologue. It is like a prologue. So not to be confused, as Ryan Reed says in the comments, with King's Ransomware. All right, so we open with
Shutting down King's Ransomware, shutting down pipelines across the nation.
Bum.
Relevant
All
and
right.
dated humor. Go.
So basically, Peter is with the new Avengers, saying you want. Peter's like you want
Defenders.
the Avengers. Did I say the Defenders?
I said Defenders.
Oh,
I'm just being.
It's
I'm
the
being
new.
a jerk.
It's the new Avengers. Yeah.
newer Avengers. You know, the new Avengers team, the new Avengers.
The 2005 new Avengers. That clears it up.
So they say, I hate that guy, because obviously they do. The brief recap ensues. Very classic brief recap ensues. Well, we have basically Peter kind of going through and explaining to everybody what's going on. So we have the Kingpin showing up to a gala. And so basically the Avengers are like, look, you know, are we sure this is you? Because, you know, there was that time you got brain swapped with Doc Ock, Raven stole your costume, got corrupted by an alien symbiote. So basically said you never show up to the reunion dinners, that's a thing Peter didn't know about. So anyway, Peter's like, seriously, after all this, will you guys just help me? And so they sure do. As the Avengers assemble, they start fighting with Kingpin's goons. Meanwhile, in the sewers, Peter is, live streaming because doing a big round of applause. Threats and Menaces, the first ever live stream live. The audience numbers are incredible for Threats and Menaces versus the Daily Bugle because, of course, Jonah would be that petty.
I want to point out real quick that it's not their first live stream. It's like their first TED Talk live stream.
Yeah, they're doing it with like a live in
For
front
a
of
live
a
studio audience. Yeah.
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 Which
Which is
episode
really,
of Friends?
oh God. Well, and that, by the way, I want to say for not the Friends thing. I don't give a crap about that. I did like the fact that Jonah that Nick Spencer he's also giving us a Jonah that's still Jonah, right? Like he's not.
Yeah.
He's turned a new leaf. He's more of a protagonist than a middle gray antagonist kind of thing. And we talked about this before, but this is kind of furthering the point that he's still Jonah. Like he's not. He may be this character that now wants to help Spider-Man, but he's got it. He's still Nick Spencer knows how and what makes Jonah tick enough to where he can still evolve as a character and still be the same character. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of, I mean, he literally then sends pro Spider Slayers.
That was ridiculous.
It's like Hunted all over.
So basically, he gave the as a Patreon exclusive type thing. He gives people access to pro Spider Slayers, which I mean they actually said they're entirely non-lethal. However, property damage not so much. It was not Jonah's finest hour. So Peter's almost caught up with Fred, and he's trying to help. The two of them have a heart-to-heart, that's when Shocker, Speed Demon, and Hydro Man show up, and that's where they begin to fight within the issue. Eventually, Peter and Boomerang prevail, and they decide they're going to do everything together. Meanwhile, we get a brief glimpse of the Black Cat in a very cheesecakey pose, but I'm not complaining. So, basically, Cat was making a very special delivery. Fred claims that they used to date when they really didn't. And, of course, this...
It actually depends on who you ask.
Right. So, so once they combine all the pieces of the tablets, they basically are like a true hero must claim it, a certain death, basically. So, kind of Peter having a bit of inner monologuing, going back to Last Remains and the stuff he did to Norman and everything like that. So he's like, see, Jonah's like, this is it, my boy. This is your chance to be a hero. For years they said you were a threat, a criminal. Which Peter's like, dude, you're the one that said this. Like, come on. So basically, he decides to deactivate the suit, which deactivates the live stream. He's like, I got to do this my way. And it turns out the final piece, it required a hero sacrifice, and so Peter actually passes. Then you passed. So Speed Demon then briefly takes it away. Peter fights with Speed Demon. Fred gets hold of it. And we meet back up at Peter's apartment, where Felicia kind of gets him back awake. And that's when we learn the explosive final truth. Turns out that he was indeed working for Fisk, but he was also basically more or less everything happened the way it happened because Fred got in way over his head. So Fred actually comes in and says, basically that, he had to turn on Spidey. Everything is just business. And we get him back to the bar with no name. All of the supervillains are celebrating him, but Fred is kind of like, I'm back where I belong. So then when the new Avengers show up, Peter's like, hey, this is bad. Kingpin won the round. Everything's fine. It's not the end of the world. Turns out we get Kingpin with all the pieces, and we get an acknowledgement of what had actually happened. He was not even able to say goodbye, and it brought Kingpin to his knees. For years, he searched for any way to bring you back. Brought me to the Demon Kindred, and I thought he had at last found the answer. Turned out he was angry for refusing to accept it. What the demon said next that changed everything. Whatever makes you think that she wants you to come back? So this entire time we have thought that Vanessa has been the actual goal. The truth is that Vanessa wouldn't want this, would be angry for choosing her. So to try to bring her peace, she decides to bring back Richard Fisk, the Rose. That is the end of the issue. The Rose has returned, and as hang on.
God.
That was a little anticlimactic. There it is. There's the rose.
Yeah, Rose is back. Let's go. Okay.
All right.
Whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa.
All right.
Don't even start that, sir. I
all
resent
right,
that.
so next issue number 66, which we'll cover
Wait, we're not going to
shortly.
talk about this issue? What are we doing?
Hang on.
What are we doing?
Just
we can
give me a
skip it.
second.
Cool your jets.
No, no. All right.
Cool your jets, little man.
Cool your jets, all three of you. You guys are very lively tonight. All right, so let's talk about this particular issue.
Calm down,
Giants.
Neil.
All right, so here we are. We're at the giant-sized ASM.
Here we are.
All right, giant-sized ASM. Tell us your thoughts. Let's start with Paul. Paul, what are your thoughts on this issue?
I love this issue. I read it and I thought it was a great conclusion to the whole this whole crime thing that they've been going on. And really quickly, are these new scenes with Kindred and with Kingpin that we haven't seen before? Or are these things we've seen before that I totally forgot?
So we've seen
Yes and no.
we've seen the stuff connecting them or connecting these particular ones, but we've never seen these particular pieces of dialogue.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Because when I was reading this, I'm like, okay, this is really interesting.
The specific no scene, I think, has been played out. Yes, but the scene where the twist, where what makes you even think she wants to come back, was not until this issue.
Right. So my grade would be, I think it's, to be honest, I think it's an A-. I thought the art was a little inconsistent because they had multiple artists on it. And also, I think it's really stupid that they had this be a giant size issue, not just an actual just ASM issue. But
yeah,
but those are nitpicks in my opinion, to be honest. I actually like the art for the most part. It's just a little jarring every once in a while. But I would say that this issue was a great conclusion to I forgot the name of the actual the ongoing story.
King's Ransom.
King's Ransom.
There's so many different stories. I just wish sometimes they didn't have stories or storyline names. They just were like, it's issue whatever, right? Yeah. So for me, I thought this was great. I thought this was a great conclusion. Again, I think it's conclusion. And you can say the next issue is a conclusion as well, irregardless. Yes, it's a word. Anyway,
What was that?
Yeah, I love it, Adam. Whatever. I think this issue was great. I thought it was a great character. Like, I would say not say defining or you're evolving Spider-Man's character, but it's just you are demonstrating the character. I talked earlier about how Nick Spencer is evolving is not evolving Jonah necessarily, but he's able to kind of progress the character without losing the character itself. I wouldn't say Spider-Man progressed in this comic book by any means, but I love the fact that there's the emphasis of his character, and that with the whole spirit of the tablet thing going through and saying that you are worthy now, because once Spider-Man kind of realizes what he's doing, he then becomes worthy to to move forward or whatever. And I love that. This is totally character emphasizing of what Spider-Man and what makes him a great character, and amongst of all the action that we got from this. And for me, I thought the reveal at the very end was awesome. I love the Rose. This is a classic 80s villain. I know he's not like super loved by people like Neil, who maybe were born after he was already put in the comic books. I don't know, but here's the thing. I love Bendis' Daredevil a ton. I think I actually would prefer that personally to Frank Miller's. I know it's sacrilege to a lot of people, but I think I think Bendis' Daredevil is really great. I say all that because in Bendis' Daredevil, obviously, Fisk's wife, Vanessa, Vanessa, right?
Yes.
I always thinking it's something else, but Vanessa kills him. I remember being like, what? Like, what? It was weird to me because the way they killed him was like he was his deadbeat son that he didn't do anything. I'm like, he was the freaking Rose. Like, I mean, come on.
Again, I also need to stress that was also Bendis trying to write like The Sopranos. I'm sorry. That's true.
That's fine, and that's fair. And that, in fact, I would say that's one of the more negative aspects, and that's a very minor part of the whole story, in my opinion. But that of the whole arc or the character of his whole run on that Daredevil character, which is amazing for the most part. But that always kind of made me kind of go, and that's early on, so I was not really digging it necessarily at first. So when they brought all this in, when they killed him off, I was like, okay, and I just kind of forgot about it, thinking that someone else would show up as the Rose. I really like this. I like the fact they're using the Spider-Man mythos to bring the character back, and they're emphasizing the fact that it was a defining moment for Vanessa's character to kill Richard, and they brought him back. And Richard Fisk has always been kind of a weird character from the very beginning, as far as like, and I love the fact that he's just kind of all over the place. He's just kind of like a scared kid to like, oh, someone like my dad. So, and if you know what's going on in Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil now, it's kind of, you want to know what they're kind of going with it. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, I thought it was great. I'm glad the Rose is back, and I'm give it to me. So I think this is A-. I think it's a great issue.
All right, we're gonna go to Adam. You're next.
All right.
What's your grade?
I'll say B plus. I'll be generous, I guess. I'll probably be brief. I liked it for the most part. I guess I thought the gang stuff ended almost too. They built it up and built it up throughout the arc, and it felt like it ended just too quickly. But I guess that's because the new Avengers took care of it. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. But I like that Peter decides to, get rid of the new suit and decides to not, show the world that he's a hero. And then he gets the last piece of the tablet because of that. I thought that was respectable. Nice moment. I liked that it turned out the Boomerang was playing everyone all along, but he regrets it in the end. You can see that in the art and his letters, narration, and all that. He regrets it. I thought that was a good little character moment for our pal Fred. I liked that our expectations were, I think everyone's expectations were subverted with Richard Fisk coming back instead of Vanessa, because everyone knows that Kingpin loves his wife so much that why wouldn't he want her back? But we get the reason, and he decides to bring his son back instead. So I thought that was a nice twist. I thought.
I agree with that. That may be my best part of the issue, because I was like, oh, okay, it's subverted. Yeah. I think everybody's expectations were definitely because of what's happened with popular culture with Kingpin. I mean, everybody's seen
the Netflix show, the
Netflix show, but also Into the Spider-Verse too.
Right? Yeah, that too. That was a big motivator there.
Big motivator there. So I think that everybody was expecting, oh, you're trying to bring back Vanessa, blah blah blah. Look, this was very much subverting expectations. So continue. Sorry to step all over you.
No, that's fine. The art was good actually. I guess inconsistent sorta, because you got 3 different people, but everyone was good. No complaints there. I guess I think I kind of agree with Paul that this could have been an ASM, just a regular ASM issue, but I don't know. There's a reason why they do this. And who knows if it's a good reason, but they had some reason for doing it this way, so whatever. I know a lot of people are like, oh, what about like how the collectors are gonna, be all up in arms when they're this like single issue is gonna be, it breaks up like the numbering or whatever. I don't know what it was.
Listen, just put it in between 65 and 66. Yeah. Let's just when it takes place in the story, it's fine. Because guess what? Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to blow myself up here in a second. For a second.
That's fine.
I mean, it's Kings. They're going to do another giant size ASM in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for Chameleon Conspiracy.
For the Chameleon Conspiracy. So like
Chameleon Conspiracy.
Yeah, my English is not so good. All right, what is your grade, Neil?
So I'm actually a bit more negative. I give this a B minus, and that sounds like radically different, but I think my criticisms are pretty much the same. This didn't need to be a giant size. This could have been like easily 2 issues. of like regular ASM. The different art teams was really.
I would agree with
off-putting.
that, Neil. That's a good point. I think it could easily been just 2 issues by itself.
I think it's because I think it's like 44 pages. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, it could have been 2 issues.
And maybe they decided they were going to do that originally, but they kind of backed out, thinking like we want to try the trajectory for whatever
Wrap it up.
milestone. Yeah, whatever milestone they want to get to is they are emphasizing. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. There's noise going on in the background. I'm sorry. I thought the comedy was actually really good. I'm surprised no one brought that up. That like this was a really funny issue that was really good at balancing the humor with the emotional stuff. I think Felicia's presence was a bit under cued. Like they I don't think she was ever mentioned before she shows up in this issue. So she just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, she was here all along, I guess. Okay. But I didn't. I as always, I enjoyed Spencer's writing of her. It's just that her coming out of nowhere was a bit jarring for me. But I saw the Fred stuff coming from a mile away, just because as someone who has read Superior Foes and understands Spencer's boomerang mentality, you could see this coming from like 500 feet from like way far away. But I still enjoyed it nonetheless because I love the way he writes. He writes Fred, as well as the way he kind of, I guess, roommate broke up with Peter. Very good story stuff, but like the art stuff is really weird, along with a few awkward plot points. I do want to say that I do think the Rose coming back was an excellent subversion of our expectations.
Yes, thank you. Neil.
I didn't see that coming, but it made sense given Kingpin's motivations and what Kindred's been doing. So it made complete sense to me, and I'm glad that it wasn't just Vanessa. Like he could have easily just gone down straight the path of, oh, Vanessa's back, I guess, and had it not really matter. But now that the Rose is back, and we'll kind of go over this in ASM 66, we have a lot more plot development that we can have down the road.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of get into this a bit more for ASM 66, but it basically convinced me that Spencer's here for a bit longer to stay than ASM 75, which is when people on CBR apparently want him to be gone.
Yeah, so Greg, our good friend Greg, says the morons on the CBR forums are talking / hoping that Nick Spencer's run is ending with 75, but I don't see it. I think it's going to be over.
No way.
I think it's going to be 100.
I'm hoping he gets 100. I think at this point he deserves it.
I honestly just want them to go to the legacy numbering, go to 99, make it 100, and you know what I mean, like, because you're already going to do a triple sized issue probably for that anyway. You know what I mean?
You're going to get one for 75 too. So
yeah, exactly.
But one last thing before we move on to ASM 66, I did enjoy how many plot points were just finished up and wrapped, and I hope they stay finished because I don't want Spencer to come back to them and like dig them up like, oh, Boomerang's secretly good now, I guess. Because
I don't think they're finished. I just think that they're addressed for now.
Yeah, but like I'm kind of glad that these plot points that have been sitting on the back burner like every 20 issues since issue 1 are finally wrapped, and we can move on to the natural sequel arc, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad you brought up the point too about the Rose and how that it was a good subversion of expectations, because I don't think anyone expected that. No one really cared about Richard Fisk really, and I except for I'm not saying I'm this huge Richard Fisk fan, but I like the character. I've always liked what he could bring with him with the character, with the Kingpin.
I am the Rose's only fan. Paul probably.
I don't
dislike the Rose
fan.
No one cared who he was until he put on the mask.
Yeah,
there we go.
This is not the first mask he's put on. He was the arranger at one point back in
Schemer.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, the schemer during the
early years, right?
Yeah, it was during the
late
Romita
60s.
run.
Yeah, that was the Stan Lee stuff. Stan Lee and John Romita. No, I remember that. I remember when I was reading that through my chronological run that I'm still doing. And I remember thinking, like, Richard Fisk? What the hell? Like, I was like, he was this guy? It was so
like
so
a Scooby-Doo
weird.
villain.
I remember reading it in this phone book sized.
Jesus Christ.
Man,
that's omnibus
did get
size.
Dude, The black and white essentials,
baby.
I was a fool. I used to resent those. I was a fool.
They were only $20.
Yeah, not only that, but they're like it's the line art basically, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the line art and inks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's genius.
One more
Yep.
thing. I know I keep saying one more thing, but this is
You're
something
good,
that I just thought of. The coloring in this issue is really weird and inconsistent.
Yes, I would agree with that too. That's
Alex, and we'll talk about this later in ASM 67, which is another part where the coloring I think severely brought down the quality of the issue.
Yeah.
Was this is Alex Sinclair, who's traditionally I think a DC colorist. I think he's done a lot of Batman books, but the P-Thug, the president and sole member.
Vinkman says, P-Thug, the president and sole member of the Rose Appreciation Society.
That's right. Nick,
But like
You know
for whatever reason, the Tron lights on Peter's new suit are really muted, and like it feels like he ran it through a Photoshop filter real quick, and it was like, okay, off to letters, go. And then for whatever reason, in some other panels, they're really, really bright, and it might just be because the line artist has more space in between the lines, but it just felt really awkward and like he kind of half-assed his work on most pages. It's sort of like what happened with Vicentini in ASM 65, where like pages were like half finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that. That I think the biggest problem with that comic was the art and all the kind of the fine details, if you will, because it's just not to make a really great, amazing, no pun intended, comic book. You need to have everything firing all cylinders, and this had, I thought, the great script, a great structure. But yeah, like Neil said, the art, the different art teams going on it, and the coloring, and that I wonder too if that's part of well, no, I was thinking that it had changed like from day to night or whatever, but it was the night the whole time.
Not really.
So,
Yeah.
so you're right. So yeah, I'm with you, Neil. It wasn't as consistent as I feel like the book's been. I know I know me and Neil differ on a little bit of the some of the art stuff with the ongoing, but I think for the most part, I agree with him on this one. It's a little bit jarring at times, but again, I think it says a lot about the comic itself that it's so. I still loved it despite that, because I thought the narrative and the script and the pacing was beautifully done. So yeah,
And it might also be that I have viewed the King's Ransom arc as a fairly B tier story so far, and it might just be that it kind of fits into that same square hole.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's fair to keep it on that same grading consistency. And it's something that I'll bring up in ASM 67. The color, I wish Marvel, like one of the things that I think manga has over comics right now is that they're doing black and white stuff, and like not everything has to be colored. And I feel like this issue and ASM 67. Oh, bye, Zach. I guess I'm in charge of the show now.
All right, Neil, go for it.
This is now the Bogan Rider Variety Hour, episode 11.
It's one more thing with Neil Bogenreiter.
Yeah, what? Dude, Neil, that's what your name of your show should be. One more thing.
One more thing. Yeah, that'll be my side. That'll be my side series where I talk about image trades I got off the $5 rack in stock trades.
There you go.
Awesome.
But
by the way, one more thing. We should talk about Savage Dragon sometime.
yeah.
Wait, one more thing, Neil. Sorry, I'll stop. Go ahead. Continue.
But yeah, we'll talk about it later in ASM 67. But there are sometimes I wish comic books would be black and white. Like the Black, White, and Blood series has been very good at using colors. They're like one color effectively, and I wish that they'd carry that over into not necessarily ASM, but like they've got that new Avengers, like Tech Up Avengers book that you're doing. Like that book would look great in black and white, but for whatever reason they've got like I think they've got Dave. It looks like Curial colors on it and look god awful. Like today, hang on real quick. Today's issue of Immortal Hulk I think is like a prime example of this. And while I'm getting out, say your thing.
Yeah, so I'm actually, it's funny, the last year or so, I've never been really into black and white comic books up until this last year. And it wasn't until I started diving deeper into like, because this bothered me because I grew up on color at my face, right? And so this last year,
hang on, Zach's swearing in Facebook Messenger. Okay.
Okay. But to Neil's point, I think there's something about black and white that I've discovered through manga. I've read more manga this year, and I've just read and done a lot more just reading and digesting of black and white comic books that I'm way more into it now, and I love that these essential editions, that Zach brought up. It's a line art. It's just it's the bare bones, and it looks beautiful. I mean, I'm actually blessed. I actually found some decent prices for some of these essentials now. I got the original Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange run, basically essential black and whites. Like that's all right. I got some Jack Kirby Captain America, later Jack Kirby Captain America stuff in black and white, and it looks phenomenal. And I just like, man, I slept on that stuff. And to Neil's point, like black and white, in the contrast can just sometimes it's almost better because you're not like just getting hit with like, you're not getting hit with the inconsistencies that a lot of colors can give you. And but the problem is that I think especially with superhero comics, so you have these bright colored things, you kind of lose the aesthetic too a little bit. So I think it's kind of give and take on that. So I'm with Neil on this one. To be honest, I almost think it'd be interesting to kind of sell comics cheaper, like just like a
$2.99 black and white.
Exactly.
I think it would also save a lot of money in terms of like colorists, because like there are certain books that a colorist like Marte Gracia, the guy who does like the current X-Men stuff, like the upcoming Jerry Dugan X-Men run with Pepe Larraz, his colors have enhanced books like Sword. But like in a book like Immortal Hulk, hang on, I have the page, but it's one of the pages. It's one of the pages I don't have like control over the stream, so I'm using.
You're good. You're good.
Also,
going in.
Yep. Speaking of, hang on,
there he is.
Back. But like this page right here, where no, we're not doing that again. Where like Iron Man's repulsor beams are really weirdly colored. Like there's some really bad colors in this book, and I feel like this would be that's one of the best arguments in favor of
black and white. Neil, I'm with you, man. Like even if I would say $2.99 is even more expensive for a color. So I'd say $1.99, man. Like that's what it feels like. Like I feel if you did that, you could actually then you would enhance the trade sales because you can make the trade sales color, and therefore you'd have even more reason for people like me and you to like rebuy like the whatever. I mean, I'm with you. Black and white there is something about black and white that in comic books. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? The original run.
Yeah, they even have Matt even brought it up in the chat log. Like the old TMNT stuff.
So good. You don't need a color. You can have it in color, and it works fine in color. But when I read that years ago, and I will say that was the first probably thing in black and white that I kind of bought into was like, like I can get into this. And then last year I'm like all about black and white. I'll read black and white all day now. So
yeah, I have an old collection of the original Pokemon Adventures manga, the like 2010 reprints. And like it's very easy to do stuff in black and white. You just have to have very distinct silhouettes. And I think that for some people
So for those that wondered where I went, sorry to interrupt. This is a great discussion.
Interrupt your own show.
Yeah, it's our show now.
This is my swap.
Do I still sound the same?
No, you don't.
No,
you sound
not at all.
Your mic sounds like it just like went to hell and never came back.
Okay, well, right now I'm having to use my phone. So sorry.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I don't know where my AirPods are at the moment.
You want me to do the summary for the next issue?
Yes, please, for the love of God.
Okay, hang on.
Wait, but we don't know what Zach gave King's Ransom.
Zach, what did you give it?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
One more thing. Anyway.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Let me get back to my freaking... trying to do this on a freaking...
Zach, you're cool, bro. Don't worry about it. While you're messing with that, if you want to...
One more thing.
I will say about black and white comics, back to Spider-Man. Have any of you guys read the Daily Bugle black and white comics from the 90s?
No,
I have not. I've seen it. Yeah.
The trade is at my shop. I've been thinking about picking it up, actually.
Is it that Daily Bugle trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost to pick that up too. Really quickly, we should do a show based on that, Zach, on your One More Thing podcast.
So I'm fine with that. Like, we're going to be doing some Patreon exclusive stuff probably starting in July.
All right.
There you go.
Let's do it.
So
One More Thing.
Going to be some, but we're not there yet. I'm not ready to announce until our next episode.
Oh, okay.
Wowie zowie.
My thoughts very, very, very briefly on the finale of King's Ransom. I think the arc's good. I think the arc reads really well, especially if you're reading it in multiple issues. It's great. However, it's got some issues with the artwork, and so that's why I'm giving it a B+.
That's solid.
StreamYard, for the love of God, put out this update so I can assign co-hosts for sake.
Just don't let it be me. That's a terrible idea.
No, that's an awful idea.
But I am glad we're in agreement on that. Just putting that out there.
It only makes me love you more, Neil.
That being said, because I'm rebooting my computer because it's the only thing I know to do right now. So all that being said, I think this is a great ending to the arc.
Yes.
I think they did a really good job wrapping up these points. But, obviously this issue 66, is an epilogue. I would have had it pulled up on the screen, but then my computer decided to die again. My wife's like, you don't need a new desktop.
I had the same conversation with my wife too.
I'm not married, so that's not me problem.
Yeah.
You got a girlfriend though.
Yeah.
Atta baby.
For now. But
Hey, wait.
Married,
Hang on a minute.
when you get married, trust me, it all changes.
I will make this. I was gonna do a edgy run through of this issue, but I'm gonna make it edgier just because just out of spite.
All right.
All right, we'll go for it. Come on, one more thing, Neil.
All right, so Amazing Spider-Man number 66, Legacy number 867, where Peter's hanging but not hanging on a traffic light. Written by Nick Spencer, art by Mark Bagley. He's back after how many issues? 7? 6. Because he did the last issue he did was ASM 60.
Yeah.
The one with Mary Jane and him, right?
Yeah.
Together? Yeah.
We've established if Neil takes control of the show, he'll turn into a Transformers podcast. That'd be pretty cool, though. There's a miniseries where the Avengers pilot giant robots, so it's like the Headmasters.
I have that one.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, inks by John Dell, aka the Bad Inker, and colors by Brian Reber, aka the person who keeps ruining Black Cat's interiors.
Brian Reber is amazing on Erratic. Just you take that back, sir.
Yeah, well, he's not good on Black Cat, so I sustain my opinion. Okay, so anyways, in Guantanamo Bay, Kindred's getting magically waterboarded by Baron Mordo. And well, I mean that's what he's doing. I mean, he's getting
bro. Whoa.
So anyways, Kingpin gives his little boy Richard a hug and says, this time it'll be different. It'll all be different. And Baron Mordo finishes torturing him and Kindred's begging on his knees. Suddenly, out of nowhere, bam! It's Spot, my favorite Spider-Man villain, behind Mysterio.
Are you being facetious? I can't tell.
No, I actually really love the Spot.
Okay, good. I'm being serious. I was wanting to make sure. Okay.
If this gets us a Marvel Legends Spot, I will be so freaking happy.
Here you go.
But anyways, Spot got out because Norman let him go. He's the one from ASM 65 that Norman was talking to.
Yeah.
So Spot.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah. So Spot leaves. So Norman says, "Hey, since you held up my end of the deal, I'm going to let you go as we promised." And then Norman's like, "Hey, Harry, it's me. I'm here." Meanwhile, on rooftop, Peter is brooding. There's no gargoyle.
Great shot, by the way. I love that Spider-Man.
A very good shot by Bagley. There is no gargoyle, but Peter is mourning to himself. Hey, it's Greg. Hi.
Hey.
Greg, what's up?
I'm here for the last page since Bertoni isn't.
So I'll have something to say on that. I got a good joke for that one. So get ready, boy. So anyways, all the villains are hanging out on a floating heads of guilt panel. The new Avengers are like, well, we're not going to be in this comic anymore, so bye. And then
that was weird. That was weird. Come on.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're gone. Bye.
We're going to have this.
We're going to do something. We're going to do something about Kingpin, but we don't do anything.
Not now though. Later.
So anyways, at bar, Robbie's having a drink, and suddenly Randy's there, and turns out Janice is there too, even though she looks a completely different person from the last arc. Thanks, Vicentini Bagley differences. So anyways,
stop it. Stop it.
I like Bagley. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that there's an objective difference between Bagley and
That's
Vicentini
like
in
so
terms
many
of style.
artists, though. So many artists will
This
draw
rundown
everyone
is
differently.
causing us to lose viewership right now. We went from 5-4.
That's okay. Anyways, Randy and Janice are happy, and then Robbie and Tombstone have a talk. They're like, "Yeah, we hate each other
Are
still, but we're
happy.
gonna support our kids."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, another scene change. MJ, she gets in her
Hey.
car, and then suddenly, without her driver, the car drives away. It's Overdrive, one of the few characters without development in Superior Foes. Oh, sorry. So anyways, Overdrive is upset because he's worried because Carly Cooper isn't around. They were supposed to go on a date and connect, but she never showed up. And so MJ says she'll look into it.
Bad, Neil.
What did I do?
Very bad
What did I do?
You caused the dog
Oh
to bark.
no!
Don't piss off the dog.
And then Waylon comes in and starts yelling. So anyways, Norman back at Ravencroft with Norman. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry." Yeah, I'm in charge again. So anyways, back at Guantanamo, Norman feels bad and gives Harry a little hug, saying we're gonna be together. We're okay. And then Kindred's like, "Gotcha." And he sucker punches Norman with a caterpillar. Bam! Norman goes against or the centipede. Centipede throws Norman against the floor. Bam! He's not dead, but he looks like he's dead.
Yeah.
Scene change. Anyone got the Wonder Woman transition?
Or Batman.
Yeah. Back after that audio seizure. Back at Threats and Menaces. Jonah's angry because Spider-Man cut the feed. And so Jonah's like, I did this all for him. Well, if that's how he wants to play it, two can play at that game. J. Jonah Jameson's gonna get a hero of his own. Yeah, that's not ominous. Gotcha, it's Silk. I'm just kidding. I don't know who it's gonna be.
Silk might actually be a good. To be honest, you might be honest.
He works there, right?
And she's got a mini that's about to wrap up. And
me and Neil are going to review that at some point, right? Neil?
Yeah, we are. So
right.
Peter. So it turns out Peter gave all of his money to Aunt May to repair the Fee Center, mostly because his apartment is blown up. He has no use for it anymore. Because as he says, I don't have any roommates anymore. One's on the lam and the other's in love. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
So Peter gets a 16th text from Betty Brant, and he suits up and webs over to the Coffee Bean, and so as he's going in, no more big surprises. And guess what? It's not my baby. Betty Brant's pregnant.
It's not my.
That's the first thing Bertoni said on social media.
Yep.
Anyways, in prison, I think Carly Cooper wakes up behind bars, and as she's shouting, "Let me out! Let me out!" a voice in the dark says, "Don't waste your breath. It's pointless. There's no escape." Surprise! It's Harry.
Is it Harry or Norman? I couldn't tell.
That's Harry.
No, it's Harry.
It's Norman because he look old.
It's Harry.
It's Harry.
And I am assuming that it is Harry Lyman and not Harry Osborn. Anyways, Zach, play the sound effect. Go.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Zach
is just defeated.
Zach looks brutally beaten.
Zach is like he just wants to mute Neil so bad right now.
He looks like a wet dog shivering in the
Oh my god.
Anyways, I give it a B plus.
Okay, this
A
is
minus.
the second stream. This is the second stream in a row that I've had problems with my computer, and so like trying to do all this with a freaking phone. You said A minus is your grade?
Yeah.
Neil? Okay. A minus, that's Neil's grade.
Well, I'll go over it after we go through the horn. Do we want to start with Paul or do we want to start with Greg?
Start with the Betty Brant person.
Yeah, start with our Bertoni stand-in. Yeah.
Let's start with a random person coming in.
Or not
Well,
Bertoni
you see,
stand-in.
Benny Brand is a horrible person. I've written a whole bunch of essays about this for years. Marvel's pandering to me now. Actually, they really were pandering to him if he's read the next issue yet. But no, Josh, if you're seeing this, we love you.
Wow.
No, I thought it was a good issue. I
Okay.
enjoyed the art. I give it a solid A. I thought.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Greg. I'm shutting up.
I give it a solid A. I thought the ending with Harry's reveal was very surprising and yet not, because it fed into my theory that there are two versions of Harry running around now. The one that we knew from Brand New Day, which I think was sent back to Earth by Mephisto after the deal, and Kindred, who I think is the part of Harry that stayed in Hell.
So do you think that's where Carly is in Hell? Or
No, I think Kindred set up a cage somewhere.
he's got a little box where he keeps all of his important playthings.
Yes.
It's like a Marvel Legends box. It's like a little prison they can't get out.
Or the Harry that we've been seeing, Harry Lyman, is not Harry at all, and it's a clone created by Norman.
So I want to point this out really quick before we go to Paul, that I want to remind everyone that Betty has, since the start of Spencer's run, Betty has been off in Europe on special assignment for the Bugle. Unfortunately, this is the recurring pattern of Spider-Man comics of Europe assignment and surprise pregnancy. I don't like where this is going, and I wanted to stop immediately. Because next thing you know, we'll have Nora Winters sent off to Europe, and then surprise, bam, 8 months pregnant after only 1 week. Gotcha.
With Phil Urich's kid.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
Gobbo baby.
Dude, Phil's coming back at some point. We know it. He's coming back as a hero, baby. He's coming back as a hero.
Coming back as a Gold Goblin, baby. Let's go.
Ooh, Gold Goblin. I like this. I like this a lot, actually.
Oh yeah, the point you made before about manga, I wrote this in the chat. I don't think it went up. Rest in peace, Kentaro Miura.
Oh yeah, the Berserk. Yeah, damn, I'm sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this issue. I thought it was great. I mean, Mark Bagley's art was beautiful.
Zach's giving up.
Yeah, he's giving. He's throwing the towel. No,
I've ruined everything.
Even when Bagley phones it in, it's beautiful.
This is not phoning it in. This is
not at all. Not at all.
I think Greg's point is just that, like, even when Bagley.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I interpret it as like
I'm gonna be a meanie bo meanie for a bit. I actually really like John Dell's inks this issue, but there's still some really weird panels, like the floating heads of guilt next to the rose.
I think that's on Bagley though too. It's not exactly.
Well, yes, but the problem is I've established a pattern with John Dell. Like his inks have been. Oh, I thought he was about to freeze again for a second there, but John Dell, I haven't really liked as an inker since his issues on Superior Spider-Man back in like 2013. So I have sussed out a pattern that whenever he is on a book, you should run for the hills and never look back.
I have no problem with this book. The inking's been not jarring for me anyway, so I've never had the problems that Neil has with this necessarily. I think it's a really strong issue. Just I think there's no overly overt action in this, and it's all just pushing the narrative forward. Everyone's narrative is going forward.
Yep.
And again, I've talked about how much these issues have been so much fun for me because I'm so invested. Spencer's done a great job of investing into these characters, but also giving us more reason to like them, that they're coming back. I mean, again, you say what you want about Slott, whether you hate him or love him, he tried to give us different characters that we can maybe invest into, and some people liked it, some people didn't, and whatever. But I do like the fact that we're getting payoff with these characters with interesting ways. They're not just like, here's a new character and we call him, he's named after the Watcher or whatever, and it's like, okay, whatever, right? So it's nice.
I'm in charge again.
Oh God, it's nice that we've gotten, I think, investing. Nick Spencer's invested in these characters. And he's made it worthwhile. That like we do care about them. And it's not just the fact that they're old school characters. Like we have Randy's kid, or Robbie's kid, Randy, or we have Tombstone in here. we're actually getting, substantial narrative push with all these characters, and it's been so nice. Mary Jane, Overdrive. I mean, to me, there's a moment in this book here, and now Greg and Neil and we've all talked about this, and I know we're running long, so I'll stop here. But there's a part where he says it feels like they're slowly building towards the end of One More Day. We've been saying it for a long time, and I think that's the end game here. This is it's going to retcon One More Day out of existence somehow, some way, and it's slowly doing it. I think in the best thematic, dramatic way possible. And I think a big, foreshadow of this is when Peter says, "I don't have any roommates anymore." It was fun while it lasted. I was like,
"Yep, my man." There was a lot of things, and I am back now on my microphone and on my other stuff, and I
give it an A-2, Neil. Sorry, just really quick, and then I'll push on to somebody else. So yeah, A- for me.
Greg, what was your grade again? I'm sorry, A-. Okay. I gotta do the banner. I wasn't expecting Mr. Bashansky, but somebody wants to say hello.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
Greg's here, everybody.
Yeah. You're like so freaking late.
Hey,
This
is showering our child and putting her to bed.
Okay.
This is like the equivalent of YouTube stream lag right there. From how long it took her to realize Bashansky was there.
Listen, she's been being a rock star, being bonus mom, getting my kid to bed. You guys probably didn't hear me, but apparently everybody saw my facial expressions as I was going through that horrifying review of Neil's.
You're just mad because I made a Gitmo reference.
Yeah,
I missed that.
are you? Oh God. Anyway,
what was it supposed to say? That Mordo was like showering Kindred?
It was torturing him, yes, but you didn't have to say waterboarding. That's a very specific form of torture. Anyway, all right.
Again, rest in peace, Kentaro Miura. That guy knew about torture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
if you've read Berserk, you know what I'm talking about.
I love this issue because it's very much not a one and done, but it's an issue that's continuing the narrative by being a single. It's not technically part of the next chapter in the ongoing story. So I'm down for it. Love the artwork. The Betty reveal, I literally was pulling it up on my iPad before, all hell broke loose.
I think you had both messages from Tony at the same time when that happened.
So I sent a text to Josh. I said, "So, did you see today's issue? Betty's back." First word, he hadn't even read the issue yet. First thing out of his mouth, "Is she pregnant?" That's been a theory I had. Yes, that kid ain't mine.
So I want to point out that Spencer actually did a really good job of setting this plot point up because he actually brought it up in ASM 37. Mm-hmm. He mentions that he's been dodging Betty's calls and this is oh god, I should have paid attention to this.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So I am so I just love this issue. This was a great issue. One of my favorites. In fact, that's why I used it for the artwork for the episode earlier. But yeah, no, I think it's a good issue, a solid issue. They do a good job. I just think that it could have easily been a prologue to the King's Ransom story.
Well, it is.
You mean, but it could also be a prelude to the Chameleon Conspiracy.
It's basically it's both. I think it's both an epilogue and a prologue.
It's very much a transition issue.
It's like an interlude a transitional interlude kind of thing that it bridges the gap between the two arcs, and it does it very well.
So I do want to say something about the inks, and it might just be I am a very technical person.
Sure.
The very minute technical aspects can drastically change a comic, and that might be why I'm so hostile about John Dell.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think the colors. I don't like Brian Reber's colors on Black Cat, but I think he did a great job on this issue. Mainly because Bagley has a lot more detail, so there's a lot less negative space.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
So there's a lot of moving parts in here that I really shouldn't like on paper, but I think Bagley kind of created a very cohesive thing to work with, and everything kind of came together really, really well, in spite of its parts that I don't like.
Yeah.
Anyways, spy stuff.
Yeah. So now we're moving to the which I didn't notice this at first, but the Chameleon Conspiracy. If you look on the front cover, we got the cover pulled up. It's blurred. I thought it was.
I thought that was an error. Yeah.
I thought it was an error at first, but when I was doing the cover for today's episode, I was like, oh, yeah.
But and then like later printings, like someone like Marvel writes up a letter saying like, we not mean to confuse people into thinking that their art was smudged. In subsequent printings, we are going to make Chameleon and like sharp.
Yeah, somebody had fun with the blur tool. All right, so we open up at the hiding place. Basically, this is a place where Supermax prison that's over in Symkaria.
I have a question. Does Symkaria even still exist? I thought Latveria absorbed Symkaria during Cantwell's Doctor Doom comic.
I think it was like they were in a joint partnership state, sort of like a two-state solution, and then like once the run ended, like it's implied that Doctor Doom just screwed everything back to where it was.
Okay.
Yeah, for reasons. Basically, we get Teresa Parker, everyone's favorite plot device. I mean, character.
I do like
showing up.
I like what's going on with her in this. Actually, I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, so she shows up as Peter's sister. Teresa Parker shows up at long last. Shows up, says hello, Dimitri, and then shoots
gun.
Dimitri. Boom, blam! That is the opening scene of the issue. Chameleon Conspiracy Part 1. Nick Spencer's the writer. Marcelo Fiera is with Carlos Gomez are the pencilers. So that team is back again to do this particular issue. We cut back to what the most bonkers things, man.
You can see me seething in the background.
All right, so we got Betty, and she's pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Man, I like how deranged Betty looks in this issue. It really fits.
I was about to say the second page where like on the second to last panel of like the page where they're talking, she looks like she's having like a mental breakdown and is about to go like full Joker.
Yep, that's Betty.
That's Betty right there.
Okay, so this is actually one of the panels that I think like really works. Like it shows that I don't like Ferreira's finished work, but like the roots are there. I'm gonna get into that a bit later.
Yeah,
but like on a technical level, his work is good. But I'm gonna get to that later. I'm sorry.
You got Peter's monologue as he's talking with Betty because he's been avoiding Betty. He's been accidentally avoiding Betty in classic Parker luck.
How do you accidentally avoid someone?
He pressed mute on conversation like a long time ago. Anyway,
like what I'm gonna do now.
And for the record, for people who accidentally, I'm with Zach on this. Actually, you can accidentally ignore someone by accident or forget someone by accident. Because if you get text, if you get messages from someone, you mean to call them, you mean to get them back to them. You just get busy and busy and busy. It happens. I mean, you're a superhero. You're gonna forget things.
Well, but I say that because in ASM 37, the issue I brought up earlier, Peter says he's going like out of his way to screen Betty's calls.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fair.
So again, he's been obviously away. So we then get the origin story of this demon child. I mean,
don't talk about Bertoni's potential child that way.
Yeah, wow. So whenever we see Bertoni and Betty on Maury, which somebody needs to Photoshop that. Like I would pay. Actually, I would pay.
Will you hang on? If I do that, will you actually pay me?
I'll pay you $5. Yes.
Oh, I mean,
no disrespect to Bertoni when I say this.
All podcasts hosted on Spideydude are a shared universe too.
Exactly. We're all a shared universe network of podcasts. So, yeah. So B+ or B- from SoFlo on this one. Okay. So again, Peter freaks out because he just doesn't want to talk about what's going on. And so we kind of get the backstory. I had said to Bertoni almost immediately when I was texting with him, I think it's Hobo Ned.
Oh, but yeah.
Which, you know, I'm playing musical chairs with the chat windows. Yes, Finkman. So for those that are watching the audio, for audio listeners, I'm so sorry. All right, so, you know, we get this brief bit with back in ASM 816, which I am so glad they used the legacy numbering. It just makes my heart happy. So he was trying to explain that Betty's in trouble, or Betty's, you know, pregnant. Peter then punches a cinder block wall as I get the spinny wheel of doom.
Has a Tron light for whatever reason.
Stop with the Tron lights.
Look at that. That's the glow.
It's a glow of the impact. Come on. It's not like his actual old suit. Now his old suit. See what I did there?
He's got a power up.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, Peter, we then cut back to the chameleon with Teresa, and it's a conversation. She shoots him in the shoulder. She does not shoot him to kill him because she wants information. She wants to know wants to know about the parents, the family that he never had. It all starts. So we get this really nice scene where we have Chameleon and Harry meeting for the first time. Now, this I think was referenced back in the Pursuit storyline back in the 1990s.
Ooh, Pursuit! Oh God, Pursuit! Haven't heard that in a long time. Woo!
Yeah, this is a deep cut. So whenever they talk about me and Nick Spencer being kindred spirits, I feel this in my bones right now. So, especially with this panel, because we get the 90s Vulture. Like, look at that.
Well, he looks old though. He's not young.
Yeah.
Oh, he lost his youth at that point. Well, he didn't suck it out of the parents yet.
Yeah, minor continuity error, but so we have
It's not.
Wait, are you?
Oh, that's
sure?
right. Because he hadn't been turned. He got turned young artificially in that arc because he stole the life force of the parents.
First, it was only temporary. Then he lost it.
But he had the old costume though. That's from the new costume though, right?
No, he had the new costume in there. That was the first time they debuted the cybernetic costume.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, I like the 90s Vulture costume actually.
You know what? We're gonna reference. I think we're gonna have to do a review if this is being brought up now. I think we're gonna have to do the 90s show bit where they kind of adapted this story.
Yep.
I was about to say life.
So then of course, it was all Harry. He didn't get to quite see it firsthand, but he remained quite proud of the result. I don't know if Chameleon still knows Peter's identity here. I'm curious.
No one does.
So
We then get Teresa smacking Chameleon in the face.
Can I just say that panel where he
one more thing,
but one more thing, but with that panel where he's like laughing when he says, "But I'm quite proud of the result." I love that face because he's just trolling her like. I felt my ear pop. Oh God! Ow!
Good.
Okay, so basically, basically Teresa wants to know if they're like them. He's still alive. We then cut back to Empire State because we haven't been here in a while. And Peter is working on the clairvoyant. So Jaime and Peter are still working on it. They still can't get a good energy source. It doesn't stay consistent. There's a critical error. Jaime is pissed. Peter's like, we'll figure this out. But,
pissed.
Jaime's still pissed because Peter won't tell him where the power source was. Because Peter, in my least favorite arc of this entire series.
Yeah.
Oh. You're not wrong.
Like this entire volume, my least favorite arc was this clairvoyant crap.
Even Spencer doesn't want to go back. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want more of this. I'm gone."
So it was hard to replicate. Basically, he says it's hard to replicate the explosion he got in ASM 835. So then you get this lovely
he literally blew up time to get it.
I haven't seen this much yelling nose to nose since Ben Reilly and Peter were yelling at each other in ASM Spectacular Spider-Man 226.
Stop.
Sorry. So basically Peter's calling him out, you've been holding out on me, you've been taking it, and it's we had more than enough juice before the battery ran dry. So basically said I should have consulted the clairvoyant, but maybe blah blah blah. Slams the door. And so then we get Peter's you never know what people are going through. Jaime's back on the bus, shows back up to his house, shows back up to a convenience store. proceeds to steal a Milky Way from an unsuspecting shop owner.
The most unrealistic part of this page is that no one's wearing a mask on this tightly crowded bus in the year 2021.
Stop it.
There's no
Stop
COVID.
it.
Listen, the
Neil.
Rona did not happen. Okay, the Rona did not happen in the Marvel universe.
In the 616 universe, Reed Richards gave us a vaccine like years
In like
before
2
we-
seconds.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, I got you guys all covered.
He was the vaccine.
Oh, his
Oh,
blood
God.
itself, cosmic rays are the cure of the Rona in 616 universe. I love it.
And then like your wife
God.
comes downstairs and like, what are you on about?
I'll be like, Reed Richards.
This
you're
entire
the Rona.
episode has gone off the good rails.
It's good to be back.
Oh, it's good to be back. All right,
And I
so
wasn't
Jaime,
at fault.
then we meet Jaime's little sister, Rosamy.
Yeah, I guess.
So
Razami.
Razami. So, Jaime gives her the little chocolate bar. We find out that his mom is doing pretty bad with dialysis. She's apparently got some kidney disease going on. So he keeps saying everything's going to turn out okay. So this is why he's, trying to fight really hard to get to the clairvoyant stuff activated. We then get Chance returning. The legendary clairvoyant must be slipping. So Jaime's freaking out because he's like, listen. So this is one of my favorite panels of the entire issue. This is an attempt to collect a debt. Any information obtained, yada, yada, yada. Like, Chance has gone from, like, billionaire playboy to debt collector.
I wouldn't know
Okay.
anything about that.
Now he's still in on the palace stuff. He's just doing it in person, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's still partnered up, but basically he's been tasked with being Foreigner's lackey. So we kind of find out that he was doing really well. He was losing just enough on purpose to not get thrown out, but until the losing suddenly stopped being on purpose because the little baby has some kinks to work out. So basically, he threatens his family. He's like, look, I'm a nice guy. He's not a nice guy. So we then cut to Silver Sable, who has been miraculously healed.
I think
She's
an art
fine.
change too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an art change here.
Definitely an art change.
Definitely an art change. So
This doesn't look like Carlos Gomez though. Is this just Ferrero with a different inker?
no idea.
A different color.
So we kind of get a bit back and
Maybe.
forth with the Foreigner and Silver Sable. And basically, Chance is like, I'll give you a chance, but you've got to build me another clairvoyant. So, basically, he's like, look, I'm going to continue to threaten your family until you, go. So, basically, they need the catalyst, which, again, the catalyst returns as his plot device. We then cut back to Teresa with a big giant gun in Chameleon's face.
A John Malin gun, as I like to call it.
So, basically, at one point, Chameleon becomes Peter Parker's face. So
That's a good shot right there.
that was a great shot. So
Very good inking and surprisingly not terrible colors.
So Teresa is like crying. She's like, I'm Teresa Parker. I'm the daughter of Richard and Mary, sister of Peter. So, all you got to do is place that gun on my forehead and pull the trigger. Chameleon playing the mind games. So then we get Peter in a really great shot, swinging away from ESU when he shows back up to meet with Betty because he's like, we really need to talk. And then we get, there he is. Talk about surprises. Good to see you.
Dun-dun-dun.
old
It's a
pal.
clone.
It's a robot.
Yeah, we're a robot.
Listen, I honestly think this is Harry fucking with Peter.
It's Kindred.
It's Kindred. Yeah, it's Kindred. It's Kindred effing with Peter. I
He's
think.
out of the box and he's going to have.
I haven't thought about that. That's interesting.
So-
actually.
If a robot impregnates Ned. If Gorilla impregnates Betty,
It's like that
that's
episode of
some Blade Runner,
Enterprise.
that's some Blade Runner inspired crap, man. That's all I gotta say.
Impossible.
So then we get
Yeah,
one
that's
last scene. Basically, we find out that the man who killed him, Carl Friars, the finisher, is alive. So there's
Now-
the final.
Is the finisher in the original annual? That
Yeah,
like,
he's
inspired-
yes.
the
That's
annual
the-
is what the annual establishes that his.
It's been
parents were
years.
killed by
I haven't read the
Finisher.
annual in ages. I love the annual, but I forgot.
Trivia,
Like,
Zach, because
looks
I don't
like-
think you picked up on that.
Looks like a Droopy Dog.
Yeah. So
It's Fears. It's pronounced Fears. That's the guy the mystery hat guy in the ASM movies.
Oh wait, no, he's the guy
Oh.
from the novel. Then
hang on.
Yeah.
hold on. Let Zach let him do his show, ladies and gentlemen. Or-
No, hang
No,
on.
this is one more thing now.
Oh.
yeah.
No, I made Zach double check something.
I've got the novels. So okay,
One more thing.
the gentleman was the one from the movies,
yeah.
but he also had the same last name of Fears.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
which I wonder if Adam Troy Castro did not base that name scheme from the gentleman and the
Probably did.
So
But so the annual where Spider-Man finds out about his parents, the Red
Yeah.
Skull was behind it. Was Fiercey a part of that?
yes, Fears was
I
part
don't-
of that.
And then
I
if I
don't
recall,
remember.
and if I recall later on, they retconned it so that Skull wasn't really involved as much, and then they
was.
later retconned it back in.
It was
Yeah.
it wasn't Johann Schmidt.
It was not Johann Schmidt. No,
It wasn't.
it was
Yeah, it was
the
one of
second
the
Red Skull.
yeah the guy who had the Red Skull like face
Yes, he had the
Yeah, right,
mask. Yeah,
in the mask. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So issue 68 coming out, I think, in 2 weeks.
Nope,
So-
next week.
Was it next week?
Yeah, they're
Oh.
doing it. They're going weekly until Chameleon Conspiracy ends, and then we're going to,
God!
and then we're
Okay.
going to and then we're going to Sinister War.
Okay, so all right,
We
let's
can't
go
get through this one fast enough, in my opinion.
What's that?
Oh wow!
Oh crap! Hold on, time out. I didn't know there was more comic in this. To be honest.
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
There is more comic, but wait, there's more.
Oh,
we get
no,
more.
wait, hold on. No, I gotta read this first. I'm gonna disappear for a minute.
Okay, so obviously, there's some more Mark Bagley artwork, and I'm going to stall while he reads these final 3 pages.
Paul, just let us know when you're done.
I'm
and
just-
So,
Bring
okay,
some-
so I do want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing because this is the first of 2 major recordings we're going to be doing this month. I'll talk about this more, of course, at the end, but I'm also going to play, since Greg's here, play the trailer for Voices from the Eyrie at the very end of the show. So for those that have not seen it yet, you get to see it very shortly. So, especially because he's got his Gargoyles poster in the background right now, literally.
We were going to record the second show sooner, but Jen had a death in the family, and so
Oh,
Oh.
she
Yeah.
had to fly off to California.
So while Neil's reading this live on air, because he didn't realize there was 3 pages.
no, wait. You said me. That's Paul.
I mean, Paul. Did I say Neil? I was looking at you and I was thinking Paul. All right, so Adam.
It's very Freudian, I guess.
It's a Freudian slip. So obviously, we'll have that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that first episode and things like that. But June 17th is our birthday. That's a Thor Ragnarok reference. All right, Paul, are you
Yeah.
back? All right.
Back. Yeah.
So we have our final scene of the issue where we have Otto, poor Otto. He's alive. He's been healed. He's back in his classic jumpsuit. Not quite the Pillsbury Doughboy version. He's kind of the classic Mark Bagley. I actually do try to work out version. So we
I like
obviously,
it. This is my favorite.
The endomorph version.
But
Yeah.
don't Zach. I would say this is actually more akin to Mike Zeck's version in the Secret Wars comic. To be quite honest,
Mike Zeck, yeah, that era, that 80s era, Al
Mhm.
Octopus War
Is it-
type.
Is it bad that I kind of want him back in the Armani with the drugstore sunglasses?
I like all
No.
of them. I like all of them.
I would die for that look in Marvel Legends. Like that
So obviously
Everything,
we have.
everything doesn't need a Marvel Legends figure, Zach.
That's
Yes,
all
it
about
does.
the Marvel Legends.
Yes, it
with this
does.
guy.
That
It's
one
always
does.
about. All
All
right,
about
so
the action figures.
obviously, Otto has no memory of his time as the Superior Spider-Man.
which is a continuity error.
No,
think.
it's not though. It's not
I don't think
because-
so.
because
I remember in Superior number 11, Mephisto said
Okay.
he would remember everything.
But this is not. I don't think this is the same Otto. I think this is an Otto that has been transformed via. I think that the voices we're hearing is Kindred's voice, and as a result, or potentially this guy's voice, because there is a direct reference to making a deal with the devil, Otto, and
Mephisto.
Mephisto's face.
Spider-Man comic.
I'm wondering, is it possible that One More Day and Superior Spider-Man could be intertwined somehow?
But we're talking about Gage as Superior, not necessarily the Superior Spider-Man concept as a whole.
No, I know what you're saying, Neil, but I'm thinking, what if, hear me out, if Mephisto and the actual like slot Superior Spider-Man are going to be somehow intertwined? Like, what if they're going to retcon something into that? Because
all right, we'll see what happens. But basically, the end of the issue ends where the offer is the person who's talking to Otto, which I think is Mephisto. He's going to restore everything he lost, make him whole again, give him the chance to move forward with his life, and all he has to do in return is find 6 or 5 more friends. Sinister War
is coming. Oh, okay.
I thought it was
the end.
So I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what these locations. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm trying to remember what these locations are on his screen. I know the middle one's the Savage Land, but I'm
Right.
trying to remember which ones the one on the left and the right are.
I don't even remember Otto doing in Superior Spider-Man, and I read that series, him making a deal with Mephisto. I mean, it's been a minute, so bear with me.
He didn't make a deal with Mephisto.
Is that the island Ant-Man?
I think there's more. I think there's more to the
Oh,
story,
I think
guys.
you're right that this is the island that Ant-Man here, like the one that she got that Otto tried to marry her for. And
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what the one on the left. It looks like a Parker Industry, like a former Parker Industries warehouse or something.
That may have been the Parker Industries, the Otto Octavius, or that maybe isn't that the base from San Francisco?
Yeah, what was he doing in San Francisco?
You mean Horizon University?
Yeah, out of San Francisco.
Wait, Adam, were you asking like what he was doing there?
Yeah.
He was being the superior octopus.
Well, I know that, but like, what was his job? Like,
sorry, guys.
I'm wondering if the left has something to do with San Francisco.
I don't know.
Hey, I got that. I'm not sure if that was a joke, but I got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is the left coast after all. So yeah. Here's the face bomb. Okay.
Or
so
it could be Metroplex.
good lord. All right. So
Greg got that.
All right, Greg, what's your thoughts? What's your grade on this particular issue? 67.
I'm going to give it nail. So I think this is a great use of continuity porn, and I like the way he references stories that people didn't necessarily love and uses them to his advantage instead of sweeping them under the rug. People didn't really like the Clone Parents story when that happened. We get a reference to that.
Robot Parents.
He did Clone Conspiracy. I mean, we ran our shadow for that. We get a direct reference to that. And hey, we're getting a direct reference in a way to the ASM movies with Mr. Fierce here now. I mean, it's like he's taking everything people didn't like and having a good time with it.
Yeah, no, I'm down for all of this. I think, look, if you can make chicken salad out of chicken, then do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I'm down with that. Absolutely. I think the artwork's okay. It's not my favorite, but listen,
Betty looks great deranged.
Betty's face looks absolutely deranged. Neil, I'm going to go to you last. Paul,
Be
What's your grade?
on Thoticus.
I'd give us a solid B. I thought the art was really inconsistent, and I liked this guy. I'm terrible with names.
Which one?
The main artist, the one who did
Marcelo Ferreira.
Yeah, because he's did the issues before the gang war, correct? King's Ransom.
He did the Mr. Negative arc.
Yeah, and I like that stuff. I recognized that. And I liked a lot of that. I think his biggest problem is he can't draw regular people's faces the greatest. but he draws superheroes and supervillains really, really well.
Chameleon.
Yeah, they look great. That'd be my major criticism of his art. And sometimes Peter's face looks really weird. And when when the other artist comes in,
Carlos Gomez,
like, I'm sorry, it's just like there's a picture, the last panel of the page where Spider-Man's meeting with Betty, and like it's almost like a medium shot of like him. He looks really like he's like 12 years old. It looks really jarring, to be quite honest. Not my favorite. So yeah, I like this issue. It was nice. It pulled a lot of narrative going forward. But for the people who criticize Spencer for Where's Spider-Man, this is a fair criticism, I'd say. But I still liked it because, again, I like all the characters that he's given us. So yeah, it just wasn't the, I think, best executed just 22-page comic book. If you're not counting the Mark Bagley stuff, because that stuff is beautiful.
Actually, this is like 30 pages. Not that includes the Dr. Octopus stuff, but like it is $4.99, so an extra 8 pages. I'd pay 8 pages. I'd pay another $1 for another 8 pages. You know?
Yeah, I didn't love the fact that we're paying now $5 for a comic. Like on a much more consistent basis than we should be, especially a comic that's now going to be coming out weekly. Like that is a complaint of mine.
In fairness, I think this is the only like $4.99 issue. I think after this we're going back to $3.99, and then we're doing like the $5,
the $6 freaking king sized edition just to end the freaking arc again. So
well, I'll give it a B. Solid B.
So B for Paul. Adam, what's your grade?
B for Paul.
I'll give it an A- because I like what do I like about it? I really like Teresa Parker as a character. I don't really like or care about, but I thought the stuff with her and Chameleon was really interesting. I was reading it, and there was a part that just hooked me. I was like, is he implying that she's a robot like the parents were?
Yeah.
And then she says that, and I'm like, yes, make her a robot. And then get her out of here.
See,
because the part where like he goes, but it didn't, did it? Just made you feel like even more of an imposter.
See, and Adam, you picked up on something too that I thought was interesting. Is he going to retcon the sister too? That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. I actually
listen.
I don't hate the sister, but
I mean, I've never been a huge Teresa Parker fan, so for me, I'm like, I can do without her because I just don't think. I think making her a secret agent like her parents diminishes the potential for her being a good supporting character.
Yeah, the thing is, I know it's not my turn yet, but it mainly serves to turn her into a plot device.
Sure.
In order to get Peter into like spy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that though.
No, but the problem is that that's all she does. She is mainly the facilitator of the spy plots. Right, so she doesn't have any independent character traits.
There's no
family business. I think even in family business, right? She just shows up
But Spencer's building off that, especially with this right now when he kills off her love interest, and now she wants revenge. And I think we're getting that. So this arc better either retcon it completely out of the picture, which I'd be okay with, or it's got to strengthen her, which I hope it does. I don't mind him having a sibling. Excuse me. So
I don't really think he needs a sibling. I don't know.
I agree.
I think it diminishes the fact that he's the ultimate orphan, taken in by his parents.
You can be an orphan and have siblings. I hate to tell you.
Batman, how dare you take that away from me, Zach? Listen, brother.
Listen, Jack.
What else?
But no. I think that I've never been a huge proponent of the Teresa character. As a result, I just don't think it works. I just think it's too contrived. But I'm okay. Look, I'm okay with character development. Again, making chicken salad out of chicken, I think is a good thing. So I'm down for that. So I agree with you. But at least if they don't do the retcon here, there is a way to. Right now, they're proposing reasonable doubt in the readers' minds, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Flo doesn't think that Teresa is his sister. They think that maybe it's somebody else. All right. So, Adam, you gave it an A-.
Yeah, and what I'll say about the art, I like Carlos Gomez's pages. Ferreira is weird because I think there's all this criticism. I think it's mostly about his faces, and
Yeah.
I'll say that like when he nails the faces, he nails them.
Deranged Betty is genuinely like a good face. It just feels like out of place.
He is, but yeah, I don't know. He's a mixed bag, but I don't totally mind it. I don't know.
I just
But I
realized
get-
why,
I get where people are coming from.
Why are Peter's eyebrows so massive? They take up like a third of his head.
Because
Listen, I'm good with Carlos because isn't Carlos Gomez the one that did this Mary Jane series?
Yes.
Listen, I want him on the ASM
Yeah.
book yesterday.
Wait, okay, so if assuming like we have the art stable of Bagley, Gleason, Vicentini, and Ferreira, and we had Carlos Gomez, I would gladly trade Ferreira for Gomez any day of the
Absolutely,
week.
every day, and twice on Sundays.
well, I would just I'd have the team be Gleason, Bagley, and Gomez.
Well, that
Yeah.
assumes they can all meet deadlines, and
Right.
like, that's one of the problems I've had with the post Last Remains era is that like we can't go through a single arc without having to go through some art
Yeah.
change.
That's why the
Yeah.
book needs to be once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Or twice a month.
Or not
every
weekly.
Like it was
Not
supposed
weekly.
to be.
Yeah.
But even twice a month, there's problems.
Like, that's one of the reasons Otley only did like 5 issues every 10 because
Yeah.
like
I
That's
think
fine
so.
though. I think that I'm down with that because I think that I thought honestly with Ramos and Otley, I love the rotation we got there. I thought it was a pretty consistent rotation. In my opinion.
but
That
the
would-
I feel like
but real quick, the difference is
one
that
more thing.
yeah, the difference is that Ramos is known for being the deadlines guy. Like his entire thing is that like when someone needs to take a break for a long period of time, Ramos is there to bam, 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 bam.
Well,
churn out
I
art.
also would argue that Ramos with Spencer versus Ramos with Slot, and given what we've learned about Slot in terms of his writer's block is so severe that it is next to skin and the bone getting the deadlines done. You could tell that there was an improvement in Ramos's artwork because he wasn't having to be crunched for getting literally scripts right at the deadline. You know what I mean? You look at Ramos's art in Spider Island, for example, versus where he was literally drawing, like he's doing commissions and he's literally getting script pages at San Diego Comic-Con and drawing those while he was trying to do his commissions. Like that's crazy. They wouldn't even let Slot show up to San Diego because they needed him to do he couldn't get his deadlines done.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that like one of the problems with having ASM bi-weekly it's bi-weekly, yeah, is that like Ryan Otley, when he was on, he said like someone asked him on Twitter, like, are you gonna be doing like this, are you gonna be able to do like 12 issues? And he's like, I can't do this monthly, let alone bi-weekly. I can't churn out 24 issues in a single year.
I don't think any of the modern artists can do that.
Bagley can do 18 because he's done it.
Because yeah.
I mean, he's done it. He did it for like 7 years with Bendis. However, he did most of the heavy lifting there. The scripts were very bare bones and basic in Ultimate Spider-Man. So you're able to get away with that with the decompressed storytelling, where you're basically doing 3 stories a year and structuring it with 6 issues and the pacing. That I don't want to but he's also 10 years, 12 years older than he was back then. So
Kirby used to
listen, I mean, Kirby is Kirby. I mean, Kirby just had an incredible work ethic. But there is a guy that I know that Neil would be horrified if he came on the book, but bring back Jazzy John Romita Jr. If we need 5 artists on this book,
I can tolerate JR, but he's not like my first choice to go to for.
I mean, I want to live in a world again where I can pick up on a potentially weekly basis JR, and Mark Bagley at this in the same month. I want to live in that world again.
Nice.
That's my night. And I know Nick Spencer, if you're listening or watching right now, I know you want to live in that world too, as the writer. So make it happen.
He just needs a good inker. Like the recent stuff he's been doing, like the covers with JP Meyer as his inker instead of Klaus Janson. It's been pretty good. I'm still not the hugest fan of like his overall compositional work, at least his recent stuff. But it's definitely better when he has like a newer inker who can get into tiny details and not look like someone's just planking, like in his Superman book, where everyone just looks like they're planking.
Yeah, where it's very stiff. It's very very stiff. It's not,
and for a character like Spider-Man, you can't afford stiffness.
No, and the funny but I never saw him as a good fit for Superman ever. When I saw his Batman stuff that he did for
One
DC,
more thing
with Scott Snyder. There we go.
All right, Steve Jobs over here. So yeah, like I say, okay, who all has not given their grade yet? Oh, are we down to Neil? All right, I haven't given my grade yet either, but I'll just say this: it's a B+. It was a really good issue. I enjoyed it a lot. So Neil, what is your grade?
So I'm going to give this a B+. And there's two main things that drag this issue down for me. The first is the coloring. I've said it before on different platforms, but Ferreira's colorist, I believe it's Hollowell.
Yeah.
He's horrible. Like he has like this weird like glow on everything. Like the page where Teresa's gut punching chameleon has like this weird orange glow. It's not like there's no like motion lines to show it. It's just like a weird orange glow. And then in the page where Peter and Jaime are literally about to make out, like there's a weird like putrid or like orange to purple sunset glow behind them. So I assume if you got like a better colorist, like who's the colorist for Bailey's last issue? Reber.
Yeah.
If you got a colorist like Reber or maybe Ethan Delgado,
yeah,
you'd have who does Gleason's work. You'd have a much better final product. And then the other thing I don't care about is Jaime. Like I feel like him being like an amoral opportunist who's using the clairvoyant just for pure profit was more interesting than like trying to give him like a sympathetic backstory. Like, oh, his mom has a dialysis machine. Like he can't afford to give his sister nice things. Like I don't know. It just feels like they're trying way too hard to humanize him.
Yeah.
He feels like
he's a goner.
He's going to be dead.
He's fodder. I mean, he's going to be fodder. They're trying to humanize him a little bit. I agree with you. I'm okay with. Look, I did not like the 2099 arc, so I am like not looking forward to this all. By the way, the Steve Jobs crack was Apple is infamous at their events when they introduce something like major. They always do one more thing. So that's what
Neil. That's where you got it from.
No, I just do it out of habit, actually.
So yeah, it's a tick for Neil, but actually the Apple like when they introduced the iPhone for the first time, that was actually a one more thing.
And I do want to point out this was a question I asked in a Discord server, but like the power source for the clairvoyant, I think they established, and I kind of missed it, that it's like it needs a temporal power source. And so I was like, well, why don't you just hook it up to like a helicarrier or something and just use that?
Or Dr. Doom's time machine or something like that.
Yeah, like it feels like there's there's multiple easy solutions. I mean, Dr. Doom, but you know, but it's not impossible. Like in the way that Jaime says it, or it's Jaime, right? Or Jamie?
Yeah, Jaime. Yeah, Jaime.
Yeah,
Jamie.
I have to leave, but I wanted to say goodbye to everybody.
All right, have a good night, man.
I know.
Good night, buddy.
Good night, guys. It's great. I missed this, everyone. If you were watching, I missed everybody.
Be sure to come back on YouTube. Find out the Comic Binge YouTube page. Find him there.
Thank you.
And we will definitely. It's part of the Spidey. It's part of the Spideydude family. So we're all part of that same network of podcasts. So.
And thank you for everyone. Zach, I'm glad to have you back. I hope things are going well. And
things are going better. We'll see you on the 17th with our birthday celebration. We'll talk about that more in a little bit.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Love you, and I'll see you soon.
Love you too, man.
Bye.
All right.
Can I also just say that I think it's funny that Betty got pregnant in a parking garage?
I mean, it's very appropriate for Betty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a joke going around that it was the Flash Dragon from King in Black.
Listen, if Vinkman, if I was going to do Columbo, it'd be like one more thing. Okay, I need a stogie in my fingertips. Okay, one more thing. This is where all the murder is. Columbo, what an old anything.
I just think it's kind of like I said it earlier, but like I think
Jackie Chan's uncle. One more thing.
the attempt to humanize Jaime is kind of
If you get that
pointless
reference, you're older.
and redundant in the long run, because if he dies, it's like, well, we just wasted like how many pages getting him to
like 5 or so.
Yeah, 5 or 6 pages showing his mom on a dialysis machine and his sister getting a chocolate bar that he stole from a 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it feels kind of pointless in the long run, and then also I just don't care. It feels like a lame attempt. It feels very cliched. Someone brought it up on Discord that like it's very cliched. Like, oh, he comes from a broken home, so he's trying to make. We already have plenty of those. Just give us an asshole who just wants to make money using the future.
You know, I mean, like I say, there's a reason I didn't give it an A. And I think the Jaime subplot, the fact that we're retreading or bringing back and completing this clairvoyant thing, it's been hanging out there. One thing I do want you to do for next episode, Neil, is your flow chart.
Oh, the graphic that I have for
let's like kind of splash through all the like all the things we've gone through.
I've actually done that. I don't know where it is, but I have done a sequel to that.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's do a new sequel for the next episode.
Yeah.
Then scan it on like your phone and then PM it to me.
Jaime stuff didn't lower my grade. It would have if Chance didn't come in and rescue it with his.
Okay, I will say that the Chance part of that story, I love that part. It just feels like, you know, we're trying to sympathize with him when I don't really want to. Like we had Boomerang. Boomerang is unsympathetic, but I still love to hate him because he is so unlikable.
All right,
whereas Jamie would just hate him.
Yeah. Everyone in the universe hates him.
So, I think, like I say, I don't have any more thoughts on the issue, Adam.
No, I'm
Greg's
interested.
good. Neil's good.
I'm interested in the mysteries. I think this was good setup for the mystery stuff.
I want to see where the Ned stuff goes. That's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Because
who is he?
Listen, I'm down for the Ned. I'm down for the Chameleon stuff. Like the Chameleon stuff is now starting to engage me. I want to see where it goes next. Plus, the Sinister War stuff build up has been really, really pretty good.
I really like the Bagley version of the Superior costume and the tanks.
Yeah, that was good. That was very good. So, again, Bagley can draw pretty much anything, and I'm gonna like it. So, all right. So we're gonna start winding this show down. But since we have Greg Bashansky here, I wanted to take an opportunity.
Well, I didn't come in with an agenda for this. I just came in with.
I know.
Okay, I read the issues. I want to have some fun.
You wanted to be Diet Bertoni.
I was going to do this regardless of whether Greg was here, but I wanted to prop up again this new trailer from Voices from the Eerie, our brand new podcast here on the Spidey Radio Network. Here it is. Once again, the trailer.
The story is told, though who can say if it be true, of a clan of medieval warriors awoken in modern-day Manhattan, of the animated series that told their story.
It is an age of darkness. Superstition and the sword rule. It is an age of fear. It is the age of gargoyles.
It's like the world we came from.
What could be strong enough to leave claw marks in solid stone?
Why didn't I know this, Manhattan?
Case closed.
As real as I am, if the stories be true.
All things are true.
Defenders of the night, stopping evil stone cold.
A good detective trusts no one.
That's one thing we have in common. Everything's going according to plan.
Then their descendants shall pay. I will have blood for blood.
Welcome to Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast.
And that is the trailer, once again, for Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast, hosted by our very own Greg Wyshynski, here part of the Spidey Radio Network. One of the newest shows here in 2021. Not the only new show we're going to be debuting. We're going to have some new stuff, some major announcements coming to you June 17th. That is what's going to be happening. It's our next episode. The Spideydude website, the site that powers the podcast, is celebrating its 23rd anniversary online. We started on June 17th, 1998. We're going to have a Make My Mayday mini-sode. We're going to be just covering just one issue, issue 53. We're going to be wrapping up season 1 of Make My Mayday. And then starting with season 2, we'll start in July. We'll go on hiatus. Spideydude Experience. We're going to take some. We're going to do a couple of more issues of Amazing Spider-Man. 2 more issues, because we're going weekly in the month of June. We'll come back in July, probably July 9th, I think. There's some, like I say, there's going to be some major announcements. Going to be some shifting around of some schedules, because obviously we're going to be adding a new show, like Voices from the Eyrie. I'm still working on developing the Forgotten Era. It's not been forgotten.
Neither have the Avengers.
Neither has the Avengers show. Also, by the time, I don't think it's not going to be completely done, but once the Clone Saga story with Miles Morales Spider-Man is done, I will do a review on it CSC. I don't know if I'm going to do that by myself or if I'm going to do that with somebody else. Right now, I'm probably just going to do that as a solo effort. So you'll hear my thoughts on the Miles Morales Clone Saga.
Bring me and Javi on. We'll have a blast.
Yeah, got some hobby stuff.
We'll have a Baja blast.
So we'll have some fun with that. So July will be kind of weird because I'm going to be getting adjusted to my new surroundings, and so that's going to be a big deal. But yeah, so big change, some big things coming. The fact that we're past the halfway point on Make My Mayday with the first volume of Spider-Girl is pretty cool. Again, some great plans to come soon. We'll have the guys back on, I think, for say Spider-Girl. I think eventually we'll also have everybody. Also, minor note, the numbering on the episodes of Make My Mayday was kind of screwed up. We were supposed to have an episode that was supposed to be a fan panel that was never done. And then when we got to the 13th episode, it was actually episode 12. So I've been going back through and fixing that. The audio versions of all the shows by the end of this week, Make My Mayday will be caught up. Next week, this show, Spideydude Experience, will be caught up. So we got a bunch of. So for the audio listeners, by the time you hear this, all these episodes will be done. So be sure to go and find us on your favorite podcasting catchers like Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, and Apple Podcasts. Also, Apple Podcasts, we are going to start trying to look into what's coming up with some of the new features that are going to be coming to Apple Podcasts that they announced about a month ago now, a couple months ago. And I'll be looking to see if there's going to be any other further changes in iOS 15 on the Apple Podcast side of things. So definitely got a lot of stuff coming forward. I will be starting my new job. I will be literally in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. But
we'll entertain you.
I'll be doing my job too.
So Neil's got his new job,
selling people computers.
Oh,
Great idiots.
I'll be installing their Microsoft Word software for them.
Yeah, no, I'm not a teacher. I'm a quality analyst.
So yeah, big new news. So like I say, we'll have some more Voices from the Eyrie episodes recorded. Hopefully by that point here soon.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Jennifer unfortunately had a death in the family. Her father passed away. Well, she went there by his side during his deathbed, and she's staying while they arrange the funeral and take care of things. She's still there. We wish her well, and hopefully she'll be back soon. And it sucks you lose her aunt around this time also. My condolences for that also, Zach.
Yeah, my aunt passed away last week, this day that we were supposed to record. And so that's what originally we weren't going to be doing anything in the month of June other than the birthday episode. And I talked with Kelly and with the boss, Sarah, to try to coordinate. So we're going to do a special episode of Make Mine Mayday. That's going to come from 6 to 7. That's going to be the small episode. And then we're going to jump into Spideydude Experience. We want to take your live comments, callers. If you want to be a part of the episode, that's what we want. We want people to participate and say hi. Just if you just want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that. 818-925-6631. 818-925-6631 is the voicemail line. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us what your name is and where show you're calling about. And we'll leave it. We'll play it live on the show. For our Patreon subscribers, I know some people are looking to see more stuff on the Patreon. Got some stuff coming. There'll be some Patreon exclusive things that I am planning. So that is a big deal. So for Vinkman and Scott, thank you, Vinkman, for your condolences. For Vinkman and Scott, they're going to get some more goodies. They already have access to the audio versions of the last 3 episodes of Make My Mayday, and so they're going to get some more tomorrow audio versions of this show as well. So sorry for the technical difficulties when the internet decided to die on me.
But we had fun.
It was a fun episode.
We
it was
did.
a fun episode. So
well, I did. I'm not sure if anyone else did, but the people who left sure didn't.
Like I said, we want to say thanks again for everybody. So normally we're going to be doing join us next time. We're going to be on Wednesday nights very, very soon. More to come. If you want to follow us on our social medias, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Spideydude Network on Facebook and Instagram, at Twitter, at Spideydude Radio on Twitter, YouTube, Spideydude Network on their voicemail line, of course, 818-925-6631. Also want to mention here with the banner, you can always check out, once again, Bogan Rider Variety Hour, 8 p.m. Saturdays, twitch.tv, but that may be subject to change. The Comic Binge YouTube channel with follow at Paul at Herman22. Greg, follow Greg at GregXB. And if you want to follow Adam too, you can follow him at Enchilada Legs.
And you can also follow Voices from the Erie at From Erie, FROMEYRIE.
Yes.
Also, you can follow me on Twitter separate of all my stuff at Quilsniv at QUILSNIV.
Yes, the same little place, twitch.tv/Quilsniv. And also join our Discord. Find our Discord. You can find it on the front page of Spidey-Dude.com. Also, final thought too. More stuff to come with Spidey-Dude.com. We're going to do some site updates soon and do some navigation updates and stuff like that. So want to get all the audio episodes caught up first before we get started. But that, my friends, will wrap up this episode. Thanks again for watching. For those that are watching us on YouTube, thank you again.
Zach, I'm trying to dance.
I know. Hang on. So for the visual audio, there you go. Let me pull the brand off right quick so everybody can see Bogan Rider dancing. There's Bogan Rider dancing. So thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening to you guys here on the Spideydude Experience, here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. More to come very, very soon. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening as we continue on this fun little jaunt. Next time, we'll be covering Chameleon Conspiracy, parts 2 and 3.
I'll be here for that.
And Greg will be back for that. Obviously, the birthday celebration here on the website celebration, June 17th. Make My Mayday, Spidey Experience, and more to come. More announcements to come. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening. And we bid you all a good night. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe this show. Let us know how we're doing. Thanks again for watching. Thanks.